Howdy folks, we're gonna do a little wedging. So I figured I'd do a little tutorial on how I wedge. I don't always wedge, but when I wedge, this is how I wedge. And it always gives me a wedgie. So I start by just kind of cutting it up into some loose blocks. And then I can tell which bag is going to be a little on the softer side and which bag of my recycled clay is on the stiffer side. And I can tell this one is stiff. I think this one came right out of the bag, too stiff, right out of the box. Just these 3 blocks, it's probably about less than 6 pounds probably. Now, if it gets really stiff, then I have to slake it. I have to put it in a bath, put it in a big tub, and then recycle it with water. And it usually gets really, really soft, so then I find some stuff that's not so hard that I can't work with it, and not so soft that I can't throw with it. You end up with a pile. I take this pile and I drop it down on the table. So I form a cube again. You see I'm smacking it in the sides as I do it. And what I'll do is I'll take some sections through and go right ways, wrong ways, right ways, wrong ways. So it's kind of distributed again. I'll just kind of keep going. Eventually I'll get to a point where I feel like a lot of the stiff bits start getting a little softer. Okay, so all we've been doing is the same thing, slicing and layering and slicing and layering. Now, we're going to start kneading like you would bread dough. We're going to knead it out in a ram's head style until it gets to a cylinder, and then I'm going to turn it sideways. I'll do it again. Push, pull, and pulling up, pushing down with my heel, pulling up, pushing it down with my heel, pulling up, pushing it down and forward with my heel. Just kind of like how you make bread. And I'll do this a couple of times before I switch to a spiral wedge. It just seems to get it going in the right shape. From square to cylindrical. Tell I'm out of breath already because wedging is hard work. This is probably the most physical aspect of the job. And what you can do when it's a cylinder is kind of rock it back and forth to work out some of the air bubbles at the top. You got this little kind of cylinder wedge thing. I'm going to push down with my left, bring it back up with my right, and as I bring it up, I'm just going to turn it a little. I'm just going to start turning and getting it going. To start can be tricky. You want this hand to keep it from getting too wide. You want to keep this head kind of about the size of your palm. Turning it about 10-15 degrees at most. And I'm just taking this clay and rolling it in to the body. I'll do it real slow. Push and pull. And then you see this little head area is spiraling. You want to keep that from getting too big. And it takes some patience, takes some practice. And I don't do large amounts. So, like I said, this is maybe 6, 7, 8 pounds to start. We do this 40 or 50 times, maybe 100 if you're really anal. And you can see it's already pretty well mixed. A lot of the air bubbles have come out. A lot of the inclusions have come out. Now what we'll do is we're going to turn it a little bit less. We're going to just kind of roll it on itself. We're going to make this triangular shape. And if you really want a big piece, plop it down, roll it around with your hands like this. It'll make a nice little hump on the bottom. So when you go to push it down on the wheel, it's good. Now you want to get rid of some of these cracks. You can do that with just your hand, or you can keep wedging. Now I'm going to be making small pieces out of this, so I'm not going to worry too much. I'll do a little bit of hand wedging every time I pull off a chunk. So yeah, that's wedging. Cheers.